specific issues, party system, and actors to explore hope and engender positive impact to our society. Our first point of call on the show this morning is on November 11. Peter Obi predicts Labour Party win in Imo gubernatorial elections. Still on APC. Arabashola others launch ruling party Pan-Yoruba Omoluwa Bulabi Caucus. On the ministers, APC Diaspora Committee, Chairman tax appointees on positive impacts. Still in the issue of ministers, APC Chieftain Adara Bererini hails President Tinubu for Wike's appointment. On governance, Shawumi criticizes size of President Tinubu's cabinet. Our resource person on the show this morning is Emi Fiehaga. He's here this morning as a socio-political analyst. They will also come back to you after the break.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Access to our money will move in return.
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the turn thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Access to our money will move in return.
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the turn thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple.
All right, good to have you back on ATN's Open Conversation. And just quickly welcome our very own Emi Fiehaga. Good to have you on Open Conversation today.
Thank you, Vivian, and our viewers. I'm always loyal.
Now, let's look at the first issue. We have the Labour Party candidate for February 25th presidential election 2023, Peter Obi, says his party will win the November 11 election in Imo State. While speaking in the state capital Owerri on Tuesday as he launched pro-party campaigns in the state, Obi said the Labour Party is known for its performance and excellence. He urged the people of Imo State to mobilize the masses and elect Achonu as the state's next governor in November 11. He also said that the process that produced Achonu as the party's governorship candidate in the state was credible. Obi said, Abure is the national chairman of our party. We don't have another chairman. Labour Party will win Imo State. Athan Achonu is the only candidate of the party and he is the best in Imo State. Obi said, I am happy nobody has changed the process. I believe in process. Labour Party wants to change Nigeria. We are asking Nigeria for the opportunity. Give us chance in Nigeria. There will be change. In Abia State today, there is hope. There is what is called governance. Obi said, we want Nigeria to have leaders that will do what they preach. We know what it takes to change Nigeria. That is why we are here. We know what it takes to change Imo State. Obi said, I believe in process. Achonu emerged through the right process. Vote for Labour Party and things will start happening. The governor of Abia State, he said, as Alex Oti said, he was the chairman of the panel that conducted the primary election that produced Achonu as a governorship candidate of Labour Party in the state. He urged the people of the state to vote for Achonu. The governor said that he was not even up to 100 days in office as good things were already happening in Abia State. Well, distinguished Senator Athan Achonu, he said he's the only governorship candidate of the party. I was the panel chairman when he was on all of those details. But let me come to you now, Emmy. Obi was first in Edo State 2 days ago before going to Imo yesterday or thereabouts. And now the throng of followers are everywhere. If you look at that side by side with issue around him being in Imo State and the need to have Achono as a party candidate, one will begin to wonder, does Labour Party really have what it takes to win Imo State, given the time frame of all of this, their emergence as a strong political party and, of course, being an opposition party?
Yes, I think as a political scientist, what we know is one of the primary reasons why political parties are formed is to capture power. And for you to capture power in a democratic setting must be through the ballot. And there are other things that follows. That is, you must market your party. You must speak good of your candidates and make sure that in all your campaigns, you promote your party as the best among all. Just like the one who is selling a product. You are not expected to demarket your own party and your own candidate. That is what the Labour Party in Imo State are doing with regard to the November governorship elections. The key thing there is that the candidate in question is also a factor to winning an election in a democratic setting. If the candidate is the one that is generally accepted, is the one that have made one or two contributions to the development of people, and groups, and in the state general, then the people will find reason to queue behind him. Now Nigeria is yearning for a better society, better condition of living, and the rest of it. So people will want to pitch their tail with the one who can deliver these dividends of democracy to them. And what the Labour Party are doing now is to position that their candidate as that person who has all it takes to make the Imolites, happy, more than the way they are right now. But the only area I am looking at, which is general in the experience of Nigeria politicians, with sometimes when they are talking, they should understand that the Nigerian people are not people who are just giving birth to today. They've been on ground, most especially the electorate, because the condition to participate or to cast a ballot in an election in Nigeria is you must be 18 years and above. For you to have been from age 1 to 18, it means you see one or two things that happen in the Nigeria state, and things happen through the characters of men. The candidate of the Labour Party, as is being addressed, is addressed as a senator. Being a senator means you might have been in government,
yes, and
have served in that capacity. And if we are talking about changing Nigeria, so who are those persons who destroyed the Nigeria? A man who has been a senator. That means it's part of the problem that he is talking about that needs a change, isn't it? Because he served in Imo State before, represented Imo State as a senator at the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I think when they are talking and marketing themselves to Nigerians, they should do it in a way that will not incur, the angers of Nigeria. Labour Party is not just a new party. Labour Party has been there. Governor Mimiko of Ondo State was a governor under the platform of Labour Party. We have the former Deputy Senate President Ovioma Agege was a senator under Labour Party before he joined the APC. So Labour Party had been there. So if we're talking about parties that have not done well in the Nigeria state, I think Labour Party is not from heaven. Labour Party is not an angel. Labour Party has their members as Nigerians. And they make mention of one other thing there, that if you check the level of governance in Imo State and compare to Abia State, one will begin to wonder, unless Oti just resume, what are the policies that we have seen on ground? What has it done exceptionally that is different for the usual way we see? Tying of roads,
being done, yeah.
Tying of roads, I will give you light, promises like I will give you light, I will give you better light, I will. That has been the experience of Nigerian politics. So what has it done exceptionally that is different that we, attract people towards the Labour Party? And the candidate of Labour Party, they mentioned something that really captured my attention. He talked about Labour Party, if he wins after his inauguration, he will ensure that there is an election for local government in Imo State.
Yes.
When he said that, in my mind, I went back to their principal, which is Peter Obi. How will he feel when the candidate of Labour Party in Imo State is talking about conducting local government election in line with the constitutional provision of the country? I think Obi will not be happy now, because in his own term, The 8 years he was there, from 2006 to 2014 that he left, he refused to conduct local government elections.
What was the reason?
He refused. That is in disobedience to the Nigerian Constitution, because the Constitution emphasized that the people to man the local government area must be democratically elected. So, the Constitution don't want to know if there is anything. All they need to do, you must follow the procedure of the Constitution.
Granted, but that was Peter Obi's past.
Yes. Now he's talking about Labour Party. Do it differently. Labour Party. Remember,
but he wasn't a member of Labour Party while he was governor of Anambra State.
That is what I'm telling you now. The Labour Party is formed, or the members of the Labour Party are Nigerians. And we are talking about changing Nigeria for good, according to the Labour Party. Now, if you are changing the Nigeria, right, that means Nigeria, there are one or two that is bad in the country. So who are those who made those things bad? Who are those who made the Nigeria state bad? Who are those who created the problem that Nigeria needs to be changed from? If at a time you refuse to conduct local government election, in disobedience to the provision of the Constitution that make you governor, and now you are saying your party will change. So change what? From what and to what?
No, he said that. It's like saying, when I was 20, what I did when I was 20, and I'm, let's say, 70, I'm going to do that again, the same way I did when I was 20. There is room for change, because change is the only constant.
Yes.
So Obi didn't conduct, I don't know how correct that is, but from what you said, he didn't conduct a local government election for the first and second tenure. Now, you also remember that this tenure were not like back-to-back tenure. There was phases of, what do you call, interruptions.
No, it was back-to-back.
No, there was a. How did Betty?
He came to the in 2006, right? So he completed his first tenure in 2010.
Something
in 2010, no, there was in 2010 he sought re-election and he was re-elected as the governor of Anambra State. So there was no interruption in his this thing. There was no interruption.
When he won the election, there was the first female governor we had in Nigeria.
That was before the DC. That is why I used 2006.
There was a governor. There was a governor.
Chris Ngigi.
When Chris left, somebody else was an interim governor.
Chris Ngigi. So I am looking at the time I am looking at the time he took the oath of office from 2006. So I am not adding whatever happened between Chris Ngigi and the rest. So at the time he took over in 2006, around March to 2014, that he left, there was no interruption.
Okay,
there was no disruption.
So saying that he did not conduct local government election while he was in office means that if Achonu wins, he may not conduct governorship local government election.
No, that is not the point I'm trying to make here. We are talking about situations that are bad in the country. We are talking about impunity that has kept Nigeria where it is. Because government officials and some persons, immediately they assume power. They become gods, they become lords,
but
they become unquestionable. Even disobeying the provision of the Constitution. Do you know if you disobey the Constitution, you are creating anarchy, you are creating socio-economic downturn, you are creating several problems.
I agree with
and
you.
This is the problem now. And they are saying
others
are bad. So now what they are saying, others are bad. So what I'm trying to say now, it is not the party.
I don't think Obi said others are bad. I think what he said was, we are going to do things different from how others
Nigeria needs a change. That they should give them the room to do the things better. Many other people are doing it in a bad manner. They are not doing it well. When you say you need a change, when you say you need a change, you need a change from what to what? Do you need a change because things are good? Because things are good. Your living condition is so okay. So you now want something bad.
Something better.
Something better. That means the one you were still weird before is not that better. It's not the best.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not the best.
Yeah,
so
that could be from Obi's perspective and his Labour Party.
Meaning then who kept the Nigeria state at that position that it wasn't at the best or it's not at the best?
I may have been part of that system, but I have seen that system didn't work. I want to change the system. What is wrong with that?
Why is it that the system didn't work? It's because of the character that made the system not to work.
So it's possible that
and part of the character is refusing to conduct local government election, which is flagrant disobedience to the law that established you even as a governor, as a senator, or whatever.
So let me now ask you a question. Let me ask you, yes, that could be said to be impunity, but when Obi did that while he was governor till 2014, now he had done something that he's not supposed to have done. Now he's saying that we want to do something better. You think that through him and the Labour Party and our child know that something better can come up?
That is what he said. He is the best. Labour Party is the best among others.
He didn't say best among others.
You read now from what is the best. From what you read. Did he say Labour Party is the best among others? From what you read, that Labour Party is better than others. Meaning other parties that have been existing are bad, right? Now I am not telling you.
That's not the direct connotation.
I always tell Nigerians one thing. It is not the nomenclature that is the problem. Parties are nomenclatures. And who are those that form the political party, the association of people, are the Nigerians.
Hold on. If we're to agree with you that all the parties available right now, whether you call them NNPP, PDP, APC, or Labour Party, that they are all the same, what then do you think should be the goal? Are we doomed?
We are not doomed.
Is there some sort of hope that Nigerians can look up to?
Yes, there is hope.
Where is that going to come from? What horizon?
Yes. No, the thing is, there is always a hope. In political experience, that is why I tell people, let us limit the level we pray, the level we do this about Nigeria, and take part in critical decision making. You see, society has changed through decision making. When the right decisions are taken and they require sacrifices are associated with that decision, I tell you, society will change. Today, what are the problems? No roads. By the time Nigerians decide, okay, I will no longer divert for mentor for roads building and the rest, and they use this money I expended on road building, I think there will be road. That is decision. If, okay, our hospital, our healthcare system is not working in the manner we expected.
Hold on.
If the money I invested in the health system, health system will work.
I agree. We always know what is wrong. We always know what should be done, but we never really know who should do it.
We know it.
So who should take responsibility? I give a typical example now. Let's get real. Obi was the governor for 8 years, and he didn't, from what you said, conduct a local government election for the 8 years.
As the law demands.
No, when we say the law demands, even Tinubu right now, there are a lot of things that's been done under him that are against, contrary to what the law says. For instance, the arrest of Emefiele.
That is why they are in court.
No, see.
You can arrest. I'm not trying to speak for the You can arrest. Is there warrant to do so?
Hold on.
Yes.
When we talk about leaders breaking the laws,
yes.
You've been insisting Obi didn't do ABCD because, according to the Constitution, which is going against the Constitution. But the truth is, Emefiele, yeah, we have our angst against him as while he was the CBN governor. But again, in December, there is a court of competent jurisdiction did say that what is being done to him shouldn't be done to him. And then if you take it further from there to all of the court orders against, for instance, the battle at the court premises, Federal High Court in Lagos State, between the prison and the prison official, uniformed security and DSS. On that particular day, Justice Oweibo said, signed a warrant for Emefiele to be taken to Ikoyi Correctional Center till today.
Yes.
Emefiele is still in DSS. Is the president not aware?
I would have loved to wait until we have to discuss, but let me just.
But I'm just putting it across the CS.
At least to set the record straight now. We discussed that matter here, right? I was here that we discussed, and I condemn the action of the DSS. That if you are set up by law, you need to obey the law.
Yes.
Right? And the bail that was granted Emefiele to be taken to the correctional center did not say it is perpetual. It was granted at that moment. And every suspect can be rearrested, even if it's granted bail. Emmy,
hold on.
No, yes.
A court of competent jurisdiction in that same court said, signed a warrant. Take this man to Ikoyi prison. You are now saying that. So are you trying to say that? Are we looking at a situation where one can find a reason to disobey the rules of the laws and then one would not have a reason to?
Now, he said, take Emefiele to the correctional center, right? It was clearly stated, right? And the DSS tried to hijack it, that their director say it should be brought back.
They didn't try to. They beat up the prison official.
They said,
pulled Emefiele to the detention, and he's still there.
Emefiele should be brought back. At that moment...
Is the director bigger than the law?
I remember what I said. At that moment, they ought to have handed Emefiele to the...
Is the president of Nigeria aware that this happened?
To the prison warder in the court. Immediately they are coming out of the courtroom, they can arrest Emefiele immediately. But
Emmy, has that law, that order that the judge gave, was it ever obeyed at any point?
That is what I'm saying. Now, to an extent it was obeyed, to an extent it was disobeyed.
At what point, where was it obeyed?
It is two ways. Now, look at it. The first instance that it should be taken to Ikoyi, to the correctional center, that order wasn't perpetual.
No,
right?
Emmy,
I am coming. Wasn't perpetual. In the eyes of the law. In the eyes of the law. Now,
hold on.
The only crime, the only thing that was wrong there.
Hold on.
Yes.
What act binds the DSS?
The law.
The Constitution, the Grand Norm.
Yeah.
Who are the custodians of this Grand Norm?
The custodian of the judiciary.
Good. Right. So is the DSS bigger than the judiciary?
That is why I said where the air was that shameful act. Because you still have opportunity.
I'm telling you that.
Because you still have opportunity in line with the law.
Anyway.
In line with the law.
Let's not go further on this.
To arrest Emefiele even in the court premises, but not inside the courtroom.
Right? Let's not go further in this. Let's wrap up this OB part so it doesn't look like it's one for this and against the other. We have a situation where we know what is wrong. We always know what is wrong. We always know what should be done. But when I ask who is supposed to ensure that these things are done?
That is why we have three arms of government, right?
Yeah.
In a constitutional democracy. It is the responsibility of the executive to implement the law that are legislated by the National Assembly or State Assembly in the case of a state.
Okay.
Then it is the responsibility of the judiciary to act like a watchdog. If the law is obeyed or followed as expected or as legislated, right? Now, who should ensure that things are done well in line with the law? It is the three arms of government.
So when they fail, why do we say one person failed?
The failure in a point of informed mind is judged based on the provision establishing that office. Like the executive now. Like the executive.
Okay, they don't ask this question.
If I want to accuse or criticize, I will try to know whose function is this, and to what extent is these people permitted to act in this manner?
We are talking about Achono and Obi saying that Achono will win in most states, and you raise the issue
and
of
that is not
how are they going to make Nigeria better because there is this aspect of what Obi did while he was in office. How can Achono be said he's going to conduct local government election and all of that? And I'm saying to you right now, if Obi failed to conduct local government election, there were House of Assembly members in that state. Did they question that? What did they do? There are community leaders, there are rep members. Did anybody question that? So if we know what is wrong and what it should be, and we fail to do what should be done so that these rights can be done, are we really expecting that we could have a developed society, irrespective of what any political party may have promised?
This is one of the problems. That is why I've always said that most of the problems we are suffering today are occasioned by the actions of state governors at the state level. You know what? In 1998, when INEC was in charge of conducting local government elections, in fact, local government elections were conducted before assemblies, governorship, and presidential elections. Elections were won by all party, opposition, and everybody win election. The election was really, something that looked like elections. But when the law was amended under the PDP regime, and the power to conduct local government elections was endowed to the states, we saw a situation where the state governor now decide at what time he or she will conduct the local government elections. He must set up the state electoral body and empower them to so conduct. If this are not done, the state doesn't conduct local government elections. This is where most of the governors are leveraging. And that is what Obi also did. At that point, what can you do? You can't beat him.
Okay.
You can't arrest him.
Okay,
there is immunity and the rest of it. So what I'm trying to say, the essence of this is this. The religion I belongs to says one thing, that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory. But in a situation where some of the sinners are not claiming to be the saints, I have problem with it. So if we
that's you having problem with it, it's not like it's a general thing.
So if we are talking about a bad situation, we should also consider the character that led to that bad situation.
So we should hold those characters in perpetual, we should hold them down.
Where you are not making it as if it is them, I am not part of it. It gets Emifiraga worried.
All right, we've taken note of that. Let's see what Aregbesola has to say about the new caucus in the APC. So the immediate past Minister of Interior, Benny Ralph Aregbesola, has restated his commitment to progressive ideals in the All Progressive Congress in Osun State, even as he stated that political parties are amalgamation of different interests and tendencies. Benny Aregbesola renewed his commitment to the party during the launch of Omolabi caucus of the APC in Ilesa on Tuesday, August 22nd, described the Omolabi caucus as one of the many caucuses in the state. Aregbesola is a former two-term governor of Osun State. He noted that the caucus is not a faction of the party, but a union of like minds in the state. According to Shola Fashure, media officer to Ogbeni Aregbesola, the Omolabi tendency is a caucus within the All Progressive Congress, actually one of the caucuses in the state. He said, we are not a faction, we are the genuine foundation members of the party, and we have no intention of abandoning the ship of the party as it navigates the most turbulent waters. We are no sprinters, but long-distance runners, and we will still be standing when all the fair weathers have gone. A political party is actually an agglomeration of interests and tendencies. But he said, reading well from the United States, where we borrow the presidential system, we can see that the Republican Party is made up of big businesses, nationalists, religious rights, and others. The People's Democratic Party, he said, on the other hand, is composed of welfarists, labor unions, the ethnic and sexual minorities, and others. He said they are together in the party because their interests are broadly similar, and they believe the party is the right vehicle for them to realize their goals. He says sometimes they compete and clash, but for most parts, they cooperate and form strong bond to give their party the victory in every election cycle. So the party loses anytime this bond is broken, as according to Aregbesola. So he said, basically, what they've come to do here yesterday is to renew their commitment to the path of progress, ideology, and politics as inherited from their great past heroes, Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the rest of the leaders have gone ahead of them, politically speaking. Now, let's talk about these Omolabi caucus within the APC. Now, politically speaking, a party is supposed to have an ideology. That ideology is supposed to be what drives the party, what determines what happens and how it's going to pan out. But in a situation where you discover that everybody seems to have their interests, like particularly said that Omolabi caucus is the foundation members. They are not different from the progressive ideal. So what is the Omolabi ideal and what is the progressive ideal of the All Progressive Congress, if you may?
I think this is where the problem that we are experiencing in government, also coming from. The understanding of the essence of political party by some Nigerian politicians is really a problem to our democratic experience. Big problem. You see, Aregbesola quoting him, he said, yes, political party like the APC and the rest is a conglomeration of different interests. I agree with him 100%, right? These interests were added together.
And that's been over 8 years ago.
Came to form an alliance and they became one.
Supposedly.
Meaning they now have one major interest, one major ideology,
yes,
one major motion,
yep,
one major goal. So these other interests that he may mention all are now subsumed into the major interest.
Supposedly.
That is how a political party is formed. But when you who submitted yourself to be a member of a political party, who is still holding on to that your different ideology and interest, it means you are not a submissive member of a political party in the first place. Then secondly, you are not really the character that can help to drive the party to achieve its aims and objectives, because you are holding on to your interest first as above the general interest of the party. So how will the party be in harmony? How will the party achieve their objectives and aims? How will the party so win election without fractionalizing the party?
This is the problem most politicians are creating within the political party. And they will tell you what matters most is the interest. The question I always ask them, what interest?
All right, so let me ask this now. Let's quickly look at this before we leave this particular conversation. Where is this Omolabi Pan-Yoruba caucus coming from? And I'm asking because he was a two-time governor. He became a minister under the past administration of President Mohamed Buhari. And now nothing seems to be heard about whether he's been appointed or given any position whatsoever. This interest of Omolabi caucus, why is it coming up now? And I ask that because clearly he's saying foundation members, and I don't know what that means.
The thing is very simple here. What Aregbesola is trying to create now, you see, every politician, yes, I give it to them, always want to be relevant in the political system. So they always create means for them to be relevant. Aregbesola, before the general elections, the role he created within the APC and how he even fought the APC from his own state, and at the national level, his level of involvement to enable APC win an election was really questionable. Now he's saying that at the state level, he's not holding on to any political office that will help him to perpetuate himself in power or to be so relevant. So what will I do? I need to...
And at the national too.
So what do I need to do within the state to hold on to the structure at the state level? And once I can hold on to some of the structure, so it means I can also decide and be regarded and respected in decision-making with anything within the APC. Now, you now created Omolabi, and you call it a caucus. A caucus inside APC caucus, right? So that we now have two caucuses.
Or more. Because
more.
They said there are other caucuses.
Yes, that means you have the APC caucus, you are now creating your own. And you are saying these are foundational members. These foundational members will be driving one idea.
Whose ideology?
And that idea may definitely be some selfish and personal idea different from the one of APC in Osun State.
Good.
Are you not trying to create a division, a sharp division within the party already? Why don't you submit yourself? Since you felt that this is the party I want to belong to, why don't you submit yourself to the betterment and the general will of the party that you belong to?
And that's I wasn't going to ask you to talk about this, but now, the Omolabi caucus inside the APC, whose vision, goal, agenda are they going to be running? Theirs or that of the party?
According to them, they say that they are not a faction. They are part of the APC. But somebody ensured that that meeting took place. Somebody galvanized those persons to come to under one umbrella called Omolabi caucus. Certainly, the driver of that caucus or that interest definitely have his own interest that he wants to establish, right? Is that interest in line with the general will and health of APC in Osun State? This is the question I'm asking Aregbesola now. It is bad to be a bad boy where your party is seeking to capture power, because definitely what goes around will come around. So why are you forming this caucus in this APC in Osun State now? Definitely to drive your interest and hold on to certain structure of the state. If the interest of the APC in Osun State is not okay with you, it means your own caucus now, Omolabi, will now exert their feet to factionalize the party, create problem within the party, and at the end of the day, APC will now struggle to win power. It means you are not a friend and a loyal member of the party.
At this point, I don't envy Ganduje at all. He's got his work cut out for him. Now, the All Progressive Congress Committee of the Diaspora Chairman has warns the new ministers against failure, urging them to ensure they meet the expectations of the masses. Prince Stephen Teller, APC chairman in Spain chapter and CDC Secretary General, told the news agency of Nigeria in Lagos yesterday that the appointment of new members of the Federal Executive Council were calls to rescue the nation. He said, without any iota of doubt, you all have equally distinguished yourselves in life and career, which we are sure the president noticed before nominating you for this exalted positions. He said, all eyes are now on you to help the president actualize his renewed hope agenda. As you are inaugurated, we are very sure that Nigerians will begin to see positive changes in the society. He said, do your best to set Nigeria on the path of sustainable growth and development. You cannot afford to fail the populace who are eagerly waiting to see the difference you will be bringing to the table and their living conditions. Teller said the times are hard and citizens home and abroad are waiting eagerly. The duties ahead we know are huge, enormous and tasking, and we know that you are all capable and that you will hit the ground running. We appeal to you humbly to use this auspicious opportunity and appointments to make indelible marks in the lives of Nigerian people. Let us wipe away their tears and turn their seemingly hopeless situation around. We believe you won't let them down. Now, this is APC Diaspora Committee Chairman tasking Tinubu's appoint ministers to deliver, as Nigerians have huge expectation from them considering the present prevailing economic situation and what have you. However, when you talk about expectations, is it too early to begin to make demands on these men, considering that, first of all, they need to secure their political base? They also need to deliver, because it is their political base that actually helps to provide the support that brings them to where they are today. So looking at it from either way, our need as a people and their need as individuals also, is it too early to start mounting this pressure on them? They're just about a day or two old in office.
For me, I don't really see this as a pressure being mounted on the ministers.
Okay.
But I see it as a kind of a goodwill appeal to the ministers. Because they say you can't afford to fail Nigerians. And they were able to identify some areas that need to be taken care of, and the state of the Nigerian economy and the rest of it. And Nigerians are full of expectations. So you don't need to fail them and you can't afford to fail them. It's a good call on them. It's not a pressure. For me, when you are nominated for the position of a minister, you were notified. And your consent was sought before the names were sent to the National Assembly for screening and confirmation. That means you already accepted that you are equal to the task. It's a call to service. It's a call to labor. And these things you accepted, that yes, you can do it, and you are ready for it. That was why the president sent your name in obedience with the law to the National Assembly. You were screened and confirmed.
Yeah.
So whatever demand that is made of you, you shouldn't see it as a pressure on you, but rather, you don't even have the time to rest. You don't even have the time to, to party, because you agree that you will serve. You see, asking them not to fail Nigerian, like I say, is a good way, but Nigerians know the president more. These people are first responsible to the president, who hired them on behalf of Nigerians. I always say this to the people who are commissioners, local governments, federal ministers, and to those who are appointee, like the president, the governors, local governments, and the rest of whatever position you are, who can appoint people. You as an executive, you have two roles: administrative role and managerial role. These are expected of you. Now, before you were given that opportunity to serve in that capacity, you already told the people that this is what you are going to do, meaning you have a vision, and those visions you want to achieve them. So people know you and that your vision. So whosoever person you are appointing, you are hiring, they are like tools for you to achieve that your vision and goal. So the ministers, the commissioners are like tools to the president and the governor to achieve his goals for the country, the state, or the local council area. They that are coming now, the pressure now or the demand are most or more on the president, who should ensure that those tools that he hired to achieve these things does the job according to his vision and making sure he delivered as promised.
All right.
So the pressure should come more from the president, who should monitor the activities of these ministers and ensure that they are delivering as he hired them to do on behalf of Nigerians.
All right, thank you, Emmy. Everyone will take a short break and we'll come back. Adara Berin is APC chieftain, hails President Tinubu for Wike's appointment. To talk more on that after the break.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Access to our money.
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. In between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us?
And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
All right, welcome back to ATN's Open Conversation, everyone. Now, Tinubu, a leader of the Progressives Congress in Ekiti State, Honorable Ayodeji Adara Berin, praised President Bola Tinubu for appointing former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike as minister, while declaring that the former governor is reaping the fruits of his labor. Adara Berin, who thinks the former governor is the right person, also said that he has a knack for the job and added that every politician is expected to benefit from his job. The former APC House of Assembly aspirant for Ado Constituency 1 stated this at the third annual awards and lecture of the Mature Minds community media, where Prince Adeji Adebiyi, a philanthropist, and 26 other persons received awards of recognition for their contributions to the development of the society. While speaking on Wike's appointment, Adara Berin said Wike used his political dynamism to his own advantage to get what he wants. Also, he is a round peg in a round hole. He is qualified for the position and did well as governor. He has paid his dues before, during and after the election of President Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress. He actually stood by President Tinubu all through the time, and he was reaping the fruits of that today. This is one of the expectations of an average politician, that those who have worked should benefit. He has worked and he is benefiting. It is like a kind of accord between him and the president that has been fulfilled. He said, I want to use this opportunity to appeal to our supporters not to take the enemy of their enemy to be their enemy. Play your part to follow what you believe in and never fight any cause on behalf of any leader, because they know themselves and know how they reconcile. I'd like to quickly bring you in here. Now, what is Adara Berin saying that we do not know about? What political capital did Wike use to acquire the position that he is in? Let's talk about that before we get into the second part of being qualified for the position.
You see, politicians who always try to appraise their friends, and market their friends as the best. Ekiti State is so friendly to Wike. When I say Ekiti State, I'm looking at Fayose, Fayose, former governor of Ekiti State. After the PDP primaries and the rest of it, most of the Fayose followers and they defected to the APC.
Yeah.
So they joined them. So now Wike is their man. He's one of them. So the man is trying to, to hail the APC and make it look as if they have taken the best decision so far, in giving Nyesom Wike an appointment in APC government. So you always try to sell your product.
So what's the political capital that you think?
Political capital that I think he's talking about, you see, he said Wike is a dynamic, or I use a dynamism to get what he wants. You see, in the community of the blind, one man with one eye, or a man with one eye becomes a king. The dynamism that he's so talk about, maybe Wike can shout, Wike can talk. Let's be frank, Wike has this radicalism, I give it to him, and he shouts when he wants to shout, and he keep quiet when he wants to keep quiet. And he always use this to his own advantage. But the dynamism is trying to market now, I think, it's a result of the kind of politics that the APC Rivers State have played or are playing. the politics that is making the opponent or the opposition to become like a champion. The politics that place your opponent as better than you. Not because the opponent or opposition is really better, but because you are not playing the politics the way you're supposed to play it. Not making input the way you're supposed to make the input. So at that point, your opponent who is doing one or two things, the blind man in the community of the blind, will become the king and have the best mix of dynamism, and is so appraised as the best politicians who always get what he wants.
All right, let's talk about Wike being qualified for the position that he is given. He's talked about pulling down structures, restoring Abuja to its original master plan. He's talked about fixing the dirt in Abuja, providing quality security, street lighting, and what have you. And then if you look at all of those statements he has made so far, and the fact that he had a lot of strides as a governor in Rivers State, when you talk about infrastructure like the flyovers we have severally, and he did complete this task. He also had talked about the law school and all of that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like in my head, what are the major things that Governor Wike was able to achieve in the state for the 8 years? So now when you have an APC chieftain saying he is directly qualified for this job, I'd like you to put his time as governor side by side and now the FCT and what they need and all of that. And let's see if you can help us draw a better clarity on what the chieftain is trying to say.
You see, if you astray Chief Yezo Wike politically, you will discover that he has one enviable kind of radicalism. I so much cherish that one. The ability, to step on toes and make sure that you get what you want. I love it. Nigerians are very stubborn people. Very, very recalcitrant.
That's true.
I am telling Nigerians are recalcitrant to an extent. I'm very stubborn. They know that this thing is bad. They want to do it because they are selfish and always want to satisfy their selfish desire to the detriment of the general good. That's Nigeria for you. We need a character like that who can step up to break certain barriers and ensure that certain things are done. That is the radicalism in Yezo Wike. He has it. But how he deploy this radicalism is what I don't like. He always deploy it on the negative part and the negative means, which is really questionable in a sane society, a society that want to compete in terms of where we have noble characters and the rest of it. So the manner he deploys that radicalism put a question mark on Nigeria. That is for that. Then just opposing his performance as a governor and the possibility of the kind of work he will do in Abuja that made him the square peg in a square hole, a round peg in a round hole. I think if he judge the administration of Yezo Wike vis-a-vis the sectors that are expected that he should deliver based on the resources that were available to Rivers State under the administration of Yezo Wike, you will say that he performed so abysmally, honestly. I tell you. You can talk about infrastructures. What are the infrastructures? Are key to economic advancement, no doubt. But the kind of infrastructure, what are they? Today we talk about flyover, 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer, and mostly internal roads in a state that have huge resources, very huge resources compared to Kaduna, Borno, and Ebonyi State and other. Where Rivers State is talking or should be talking, where resources is concerned, these other state and nation will keep quiet because they don't have the resources to measure the state. But if you compare vis-a-vis the performance of David Umahi of Ebonyi, for instance, you will discover that David Umahi in this context is an angel. In infrastructure, David Umahi in flyover, he constructed up to 70 or more flyovers, including one that is called Second Niger Bridge. Very long bridge. He constructed that one. Sadly, people didn't hear about it. But the one Rivers State, they are about 12, isn't it? One pattern, one design. But go to Ebonyi State, over 17 flyovers. No noise about it. The man built airport, a mini airport in Ebonyi State. International market and the rest of it. In education, several schools were built and renovated. Quietly, no noise about it. This is far, 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 far above the one Yezo Wike did in Rivers State. So if we talk about a man as being a round peg in a round hole, I think it's questionable because what we saw in agriculture today under Governor Yezo Wike, what can we make mention? In terms of social investment, what can we make mention? FDI, under Wike, several times, you see several months and several years, Rivers State recorded 0 FDI investment in Rivers State. So it's all about the whoa, it's all about the shouting, it's all about the intimidation, break down, destroy, and all that. And he succeeded by, making the media his friends, to market what is not as though it is, and what is not there as if it is there. So with that, people outside the state, we see, maybe believe that based on what they hear on media and watch, that yes, the man may have done excellently well, while on ground, in reality, it is not really so. In Abuja, what do we need? We don't need the character of just pulling down a destruction, political wish hunt, because that is the capital city of the country, where you have foreigners who are coming, who want to see the seat of power, they come to Abuja. So if we see certain character that we saw in Rivers State in Abuja, it will be a disaster. It will be a real shame in Nigeria State. And this is not a round peg in a round hole. So maybe, probably he will change and jettison some of this shameful attitude and character we saw in Rivers State, while the man was a governor, and adopt a better character that is suitable to market a country before the international community. If that is where it's coming from, I will say yes, but saying because of what he had done, that is why he's a round peg in a round hole, is far, 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 and far beyond reality.
All right, thank you. Now let's still talk about ministers right now. The former People's Democratic Party presidential campaign spokesman, Segun Showumi, have criticized President Bola Tinubu about the size of the Federal Executive Council. The PDP leader, who was a candidate for governor of Ogun State in the last general election, said President Tinubu had exposed himself and exposed the skills assigned to him before the elections. According to Showumi, to call the ministerial lineup this dismal, elephantine, or imprudent is putting it mildly. It is clear that this government wishes to adopt the rigged strategy, not as in poker, but as in the bragging that tries to mask crass ill preparedness, flip-flopping around serious issues and deep psychopathic I don't care attitude. First, he said, should the government be that large at a time when a lean cabinet seems more needful given the financial state of the country? Can a nation be in their straits and those who created the financial and governance mess be shoving it in our face as though we have become a captured nation with no way of the slavery of helplessness? Showumi said the big issues before the nation in no particular order are accountability and justice, stabilizing the naira, security, national cohesion, the economy, that's jobs, and national reorientation, to mention but a few. Showumi also added that in the last nearly 82 or so days, our new helmsman has demystified himself and whatever toga of competence that was mouthed. Unfortunately, he said, they neither allowed the media to ask questions during the campaign, nor allowed for sober interrogation of the issues by the stakeholders, who seem to have been hoodwinked with irrelevance as against asking the critical how. This easy now, Emmy, it's easy to have a situation. We are very good at emphasizing on how. This is how we do it. This is how it's done. This is how he did it. This is how she did it. This is how they arrived at this. But when there is no standard, what do you use in measuring the outcome of how? That's to say, Showumi basically saying what most Nigerians are saying. We were told that Tinubu is the this, is the that. He did this in Lagos. He can do this. He has the ability to do this. He has the ability to do this. But it's been 89 or about 90 days now. We are asking what has been the major landmark of the Tinubu's administration. Between like almost at his 100 days in office, what is that major thing? We say, yes, he's been able to hit this and it's fixed the right way it should be fixed.
The question you should ask, it should have been that, what are the Nigeria problems? And how do we...
He listed all of that.
How do we overcome this? He didn't even list what I expected. How do we overcome the challenges?
What did he miss?
He showed me, right? Mm-hmm. The man we talked about that you just Yezo Wike as a round, the man mentioned something which is very, very attractive, and I implore Nigerians to take this into their heart. He said,
don't make the enemies of your enemy your own enemies. Because these leaders know themselves and they know how to reconcile. In other words, don't hate this person because of his political beliefs. That is not same. That is not same with you, or because of his principle. Because these people who call themselves principal and the rest of know how to reconcile and everything is okay. But you and I who are on the street, to reconcile us is difficult because that acrimony will always be there. Now, he's talking about the state of the Nigeria, right? And he is a candidate, or he was a candidate in the just concluded elections in Nigeria under the People Democratic Party.
He was also this one-time the spokesperson.
And also a spokesperson, right? Now, looking at this, it means he's a politician and has been involved in the politics of the country and the states he hails from, which is Ogun State, isn't it? Now, the things he mention, I would have said there is so much sense, but I came to conclude that there are just sadist vituperation that he just did. Now, he talked about the problems under PDP. PDP were in power for 16 years, right? What award did they hand over to Nigeria? What is the state of the poverty and the jobs? Now, let's look at this. We are looking at Tinubu now.
No.
Where Tinubu came in?
No, I want you to separate something.
Yeah.
He is an opposition party. The role of the opposition is to check the ruling party.
Yes.
Now, with the things he listed, for instance, I started by saying that Tinubu has been made to be this larger-than-life individual. He did it in Lagos. He can do it. And I asked you, looking at what Showumi said, all the things he listed, and the person of Tinubu and what we expect of him as Nigeria's president. It's about the 90th day in office. It's about 10 days to his 100 days. And we're asking, what is the major impact he has made that we can say, yes, this is the Jagaban?
That's true. Now, that is why I made mention of that man. He talked about the state of the economy, right? When Tinubu took over, or when he takes over the oath of office, we'll be talking about no jobs. When the people have no jobs, poverty will be there. Because if you don't work, you don't have income, how will you have a purchasing power to buy other things, right? But the man understood that for us as a country to have a balanced payment and to have a balanced trade payment and the rest of it, we need to produce. We need to encourage the productive sector. And if we can get this done, what will happen? That is why he told Nigeria in his broadcast that we are setting out 75 billion naira to fund 75 enterprises. Manufacturing enterprises. Let me just land on this.
Okay.
To fund manufacturing enterprises. Now, if you have 75 billion naira set out, and these manufacturing enterprises
because of time,
have access
hold
to
on.
1 billion naira each to boost their productive capacity. What are you doing?
These are projections. Let me paint a quick picture for you. We're looking at, you have the experience, you were the ish before the elections. You have been the ish in Lagos, you made Lagos what it is, and all of those stories. Now, let me bring a Peter Mba to this picture, a governor who was also inaugurated the same day with the president of Nigeria. Peter Mba, during his campaign, talked about how to secure Enugu to ensure that investors can return. As soon as Peter Mba came into office, he hit the road running. Peter Mba immediately began to fight the insecurities aspect of it. Peter Mba was chased from the release of Nnamdi Kanu to ending sit at home. He was in Abuja visiting security agencies. Today, Enugu State is back to doing business on Mondays. He took decisive actions. So you're looking back, you can say the first 100 days of this man, this is amongst other things. This is what Peter Mba has been able to do. What is it in the Nigerian scene? Can we say this is the push that President Tinubu has been able to make from 29th of May to the next 100 days in office? That's what I'm asking. Forget about Showumi right now. Just give us a specific.
Do you know why I listening to you? You counted Mba. And you say he tackled the security situation in Enugu through what means?
He fought. He made moves.
I'm coming out.
He was involved.
Through
Give
what
us
means?
something on President
Through what
Tinubu.
means? Are you not aware that immediately President Tinubu appointed Nuhu Ribadu, there was a security meeting and the issue of the Southeast was discussed, that the nonsense we are
Sorry. This was Mba's agenda.
I am coming. Hold on. I'm coming. I'll say Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor.
No.
With President Muhammadu Buhari at this same
that's not what we are asking.
We are talking about the achievement, what he did now, isn't it?
Give us a special.
That is what I want to. You don't want to hear it. That is it.
I'm
you
waiting.
don't want to hear
Okay,
it.
I'm
If
waiting.
you want to, I am telling you the insecurity situation in the Southeast. The South is not part of Nigeria. Enugu State is a state in the Southeast, isn't it? And I'm not telling you that the president and the NSA had a security meeting and they ensured that, and they declared that the nonsense in the Southeast must be ended. And what did they do? They deployed more persons. Yes, they deployed more persons to the Southeast and championed the cause of end the nonsense sit at home and the rest of it in the Southeast.
Sorry, Emmy, hold on,
These are things that were done now.
No, Emmy, hold on, please. This was not President Tinubu's agenda.
This is
President Tinubu's agenda, his renewed hope agenda.
Renewed hope. You can't have hope without security. And he told you he will build on Buhari's achievement on security. You don't want to hear it. Yes.
What was President Buhari's achievement in security?
In security?
Yes.
Don't you know that under President Buhari, that is where the Nigerian military has what they call equipment to withstand the Boko Haram? That is where we have intelligence center built, the biggest and functional intelligence center built in Abuja. That is where we have...
We are informing the public.
Yes.
Under President Buhari, under his government, a Southeast became the Southeast that is messed up with insecurity today.
Yes, under President Buhari.
What has Tinubu done as a president? Peter Mba had agenda, like I said, during his campaign.
Peter Mba did this through the collaboration of the Nigeria police, military.
That was Peter Mba's agenda.
His agenda, because the president said, the president called security people into place and told them that the insecurity in the Northeast, you can't have a renewed hope. Where there is insecurity in the place, the people cannot trade, the people cannot go to work, the people cannot fight, the people cannot do their usual trade. So what do? We need to end it. And the president made it as his core agenda to ensure that he end the nonsense. That is why we saw IPOP, Hidat and the rest were raided at Sabah in Anambra State. Before now, we saw what was happening in Anambra State. Is it
so you mean
we saw the one in the Imo State. Has it not reduced? The president said, this is what we must end. Yes, has it not reduced?
The news recently.
Has it not reduced?
Emmy, so in all of this, now you're trying to say that President Tinubu's achievement for the last 90 days in office is tied to the achievement of the Southeast governor that they have been...
No, it's not tied. No, it's you that refuses to accept the truth.
So what is the specific thing you can say that in his 100
days
I am telling you,
in 100 days, Tinubu have reduced the level of insecurity in the Southeast. Because he said this even before the Peter Mba you were saying. Go back to your record and confirm. You are a journalist.
What?
Tinubu called a security meeting that has to do with the security situation in the Southeast. I gave a marching order through the office of the National Security Advisor, and there was a reshufflement of security personnel in the Southeast. For the sake of those who will accept the truth, I know that the truth, it is what I am saying right now. Tinubu has achieved in terms of security in the Southeast. You don't even want me to enumerate that. I was talking about the economy.
You have 2 minutes.
I was talking about the economy. You don't want to hear that one.
No.
Then
Emmy, you have 2 minutes.
Tell me.
What has he done in economy? Please go ahead.
In economy, through production and the rest of it. First, he signed specifically, he signed 4 executive orders to address the fiscal policies and double taxation. Through that 4 executive bill that he signed or order that he signed, we now have a reduction of the 5% taxes and double taxation were reduced. Now, what encouraged people to produce? If the business environment is not conducive, you'll be discouraged. And once you are discouraged, you'll be thinking of winding up. And when you wind up, what happens? You create more unemployed people because people will be sacked, definitely. And there will be want of goods and services. But the man ensured that to free the business environment for entrepreneurs, investors, and producers, we need to check on friendly monetary policies, or we call it fiscal policies, which he tackled first and he addressed it. Then, after that, how do we encourage production in the country. See, when you understand the structure of your economy,
all right,
then it will help you to know where area to call in. Nigeria as a state, most of the businesses that we see are owned by private individuals.
Right.
Many of them are small-scale investments.
Right.
And through that, grants were earmarked to encourage them. And I just told you 75 billion going into that.
These are the
things she has done within this shortest time.
In 10 days' time, we'll ensure we invite you over when he'll be marking his 100 days in office. We'll help you to line up the things that he is lining up, and then we'll check it together. So we just want to say thank you very much for being part of the show today. It's always interesting to have you on the show. Thank you for being here again.
Bless you, God.
And then that's our show, everyone, an open conversation today. If you missed any part of it, not to worry, the show was streamed live on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Just go in there, you get all the details, and we'll look forward to hearing from you more issues as you react to these issues. So on X, we're Atlantic TV Net. On Facebook and YouTube, we're Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram and TikTok, we're Atlantic TV Network 1. You can also watch us live on atlanticnetwork.tv. or you can download our app, ATN Live, from the App Store. Thank you for being part of the show. See you same time, God willing, tomorrow. Bye.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles,